Hey, welcome in. Well, how about that tolerant left, huh? Here they are being tolerant again. Here's the headline. Daily Beast contributor accosts Asian man at bar, mistakenly thinking he's Andy No. So who's Andy No? Well, here's Andy No. This is him after being attacked by Antifa in Portland. Now, Andy No is a journalist who has written extensively about Antifa. Here's his book, Unmasked. It's a New York Times bestseller. Inside Antifa's radical plan to destroy democracy. And because of work like this, the left hates Andy No. Now, as it turns out, there's a bit of a pattern of the far left thinking that every Asian man is Andy No, and therefore it's okay to harass them. This is from July 14th, 2020. Andy? No. Antifa harass Asian man for looking like Andy No. An Asian man in Portland was harassed by anti-racist Antifa protesters. Having been mistaken for journalist and the post-millennial editor-at-large, Andy No. So we have to make it clear here, these were anti-racists harassing this Asian man because they thought he looked like Andy No. Andy No, by the way, is a gay Asian immigrant. That's pretty diverse, right? That should be diverse enough. They're always going on about diversity. Oh, but sorry, he's a conservative, so his diversity doesn't count. That's because they have no principles or moral foundations whatsoever. But anyway, and this here is a hit piece by Rolling Stone about Andy No, which is one of the publications that this guy works for. And what do they say? How a right-wing troll managed to manipulate the mainstream media. When a milkshake to the face brought the spotlight on Andy No, politicians and talking heads on both sides were happy to take on his cause. Demonizing Antifa. Who would want to do that? You don't have to actually demonize them. They demonize themselves. And at a milkshake to the face, is that all? It was just a milkshake? Oh, geez. Well, wait a second. Conservative journalist Andy No says assault involving Antifa resulted in brain injury. Well, that's not in the Rolling Stone headline. I wonder why they'd leave that out. Here's from the Wall Street Journal.
So, tell me what happened. Looks like you got hit in the forehead a little bit, in the eye.
They just started attacking me.
Okay, what did they use?
Their weapons in their hands.
Okay.
They hit me on the back of my head several times. Go ahead.
So according to the Wall Street Journal, he had a brain bleed from the attack from Antifa. I wonder if that shaped his opinion on them at all. I wonder. So it all seems like a good reason for a tolerant progressive leftist to shout at random Asian people because they're white supremacists, I guess. I don't know. I guess this is what happens when you have a completely incoherent ideology. And it really does put the lie to all their rhetoric about diverse voices. They're not interested in diverse voices. They're interested in conformity, ideological conformity. Because for some reason, if you're this guy, you're not a diverse voice. Yeah, and that's how you end up with guys like this who write for, Daily Beast, Atlantic, Rolling Stone, NBC News, Business Insider. That's how you get people like this shouting at random Asian people. Because their anti-racism only extends to you as far as you agree with them on everything. So Andy No had something to say about this. Thor Benson, a white freelance writer, thought he found me and instead harassed a random Asian in New Orleans and made him leave a bar. Benson's followers said the man should have been assaulted. And then he lists two of the editors that this guy's worked for and said, "You okay with your contributor doing this?" Now, this is actually the leftist tactic, right, of going to the bosses. But I don't think it really actually works against leftists because they close ranks. So let's see. So he posted this tweet about shouting at a random Asian person in a bar, which he thinks is great. He says, LOL, because it's so funny. Then somebody replies, should have clocked him. Also, what bar? See, this seems like the sort of thing that a conservative might get kicked off Twitter for. Advocating for violence. Let's see. Wait, he's still there? Let me know where so I too can politely tell him something. And then this Thor Benson says, he just left. I think my comment made him nervous. LOL. And then you did good then, and an accidental elbow to his grill. Twice would have been fitting. Again, this is the tolerant left that we've heard so much about. So anyway, the internet had something to say about this. Lauren Chen said, white journalist harasses random Asian person at bar, wrongly thinking he's Andy No. Because I guess we all look the same. How about this one? This guy, who writes for a bunch of prominent sites, harassed an Asian man in a bar, thinking it was Andy No, until he left. He then engaged in violent rhetoric with his followers, some asking where the bar is. Indiscriminate violence is too normalized in progressive circles. Well, that's because they can get away with it. That's because Twitter says, hey, it's fine. The mainstream media has said it's fine. Again, let's take another look at this article from Rolling Stone. They're complaining that Andy No demonized Antifa. Here you've got CNN's Don Lemon defends Antifa after Trump comments. No organization is perfect. You just can't make it up. It's beyond satire. But why do they hate him? I think this sums it up pretty good. No is a frequent target of left-wing journalists who feel that he should not be reporting on the criminal activities of Antifa militants and leftist violent extremists. No has experienced intense violence at the hands of Antifa's forces, who have beaten him on more than one occasion, sending him to the hospital with a brain bleed at one point. No continues his reporting undaunted. So my personal feelings are that Andy No is extremely courageous and should be applauded for what he does. And that people like this guy are frauds who risk absolutely nothing because they have nothing to lose by being extreme far leftists. That's good in their profession. The people who pay them like that they're far left lunatics. And he's not going to get kicked off Twitter. He's not going to get kicked off social media. These people have absolutely nothing at stake whatsoever. They only benefit from their lunacy. Remember this? There's a white leftist woman in a gorilla mask with a gorilla mask on her head. And she threw an egg at Larry Elder. So just think about that. A white woman with a gorilla mask on throwing an egg at Larry Elder. Guys like this, they're not going to call her racist, are they? They're not going to worry about racism in that case, are they? Because Larry Elder has the wrong politics, you see? So his voice doesn't count as diverse. If guys like this ran into that woman, the woman with the literal gorilla mask on her head, they would have a beer with her. Or, I don't know, a soy latte with her, whatever they have. So this is certainly a self-own for this guy, but the left doesn't care. You know, they just move on to the next lunacy and carry on as usual. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you'd just like to listen, there's the audio-only version. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.